Okay, good morning, Cumberland County. Welcome to the March 14th Salary Board and Board of Commissioners meetings. We'll start with the Salary Board. And let's do a roll call vote, please, Lauren.
Commissioner Nieder. Commissioner Fauci.
I'm here.
Commissioner Eichelberger.
Present.
Okay.
And
Oh, I'm sorry, Lauren. Sorry.
okay.
So do we have any public comment for this meeting?
Is there anybody online? No.
No? Okay. So having no public comment, we'll go ahead and move to the approval of the minutes of February 29th. Do we have a motion, please?
Make a motion to approve the minutes of February 29th.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, no opposed. Motion carries. And we can go ahead and move on to the approval of salary board actions, please.
I'll make a motion to approve all the attached salary board actions.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. That being done, any other business to come before the salary board?
Make a motion to approve to adjourn.
Thank you so much. Okay, so we'll move on to the Board of Commissioners meeting, and Stacy Snyder is going to take over this meeting from here. Thank you, Stacy.
Yep, thank you, Commissioner. We'll rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States
of America,
the Republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Okay, we'll call our Board of Commissioners meeting to order, and I'll ask for a roll call, please.
Commissioner Nieder. Commissioner Fauci.
I'm here.
Commissioner Eichelberger.
Present.
Okay, thank you, Lauren. And then we'll move on to agenda item 3, and I'll ask if there is any public on any non-agenda items. Okay, hearing none and seeing none, we'll move on then to our consent agenda. As a reminder, our consent agenda is a list of routine items that do not appear to be controversial in nature or require any discussion, and that is agenda items 4 through 10. If there are no requests to move any of these items to have full discussion, then commissioners, I would ask for approval of the consent agenda.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you, commissioners. That takes us then to the regular agenda, and we'll actually start with agenda item number 11, which is discussion and approval of the 2024 annual plan for the Cumberland County Housing Authority, and we have Laura Chamberlain here to present.
Okay. If you'd like, or if you'd like to sit, that's fine. Okay.
So Laura, it's nice to see you, and it's nice to meet you at the same time.
First time, so
yeah. So just so that you are aware, the camera is actually pointing at you from right up here.
Okay. All right. So good morning, commissioners. Each year, the Cumberland County Housing prepares an annual plan for submission to the HUD detailing it will expend its public housing and housing choice voucher program dollars. Part of that PHA plan requires local official certification that the PH plan is consistent with the local consolidated plans. The county's consolidated plan, prepared every 5 years, identified affordable housing as a priority need. The availability of the HCV and public housing in the county meets this need by providing working families, seniors, and those with disabilities to live in decent, safe, and sanitary housing that is affordable to families' budgets. The plan outlines new HUD regulations requiring updated admin plans. The Housing Authority recommends commissioners' approval of the certification of consistency.
Commissioners, do you have any questions for Laura?
I do not.
Okay, so she is seeking approval today of the 2024 annual plan.
Correct.
I will move to approve the 2024 annual plan for the Cumberland County Housing Authority as discussed.
I'll second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Laura.
Yeah, thank you, commissioners, and it's nice to meet you, Laura.
Yes, me too.
Okay, that takes us to the contract section of the agenda, and I'll turn things over to Angela Smizer to cover contracts and grants.
Well, thank you, Stacy. Good morning, everybody. Moving on to agenda item 12, I will call on Jamie Reiber to discuss the contract for children and youth. Good morning, Jamie.
Morning. This is a contract between Cumberland County Children and Youth and the University of Utah. It's to utilize their virtual social work trainer program. It's a pilot testing, and it's no cost to the county. And this is just an agreement to share the information back and forth between the two of us.
Any questions for Jamie? If not, I would ask for a motion, please.
I will move to approve the contract for children and youth as discussed.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to agenda item 13, I will call on Eric Radnovich to discuss the contracts for the District Attorney's Office, FID. Good morning, Eric.
Good morning, Commissioners, on this beautiful day. I have two contracts for you to approve. I have a contract with Dynex Technologies for $12,236. It is a maintenance agreement on a piece of equipment in our toxicology laboratory. And the other contract is with Qualtrics. It's our annual subscription for our license and for our Qualtrics quality control software for accreditation for the laboratory, and that is for $17,334.60.
Any questions for Eric?
I don't have any. Gary, do you have any questions?
No, no questions.
If not, for a motion, please.
I'll move for approval.
I'll second. So it's moved and seconded. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Commissioners.
Moving on to agenda item 14, I will call on Adrian Vaughn to discuss the grant application for the District Attorney's Office, Victim Services. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning, Adrian.
Seeking approval, immediate approval actually, of our VOCA grant, our Victims of Crime Act grant that we have had for a number of years. Unfortunately, we saw about a $12,000 decrease this year from PCCD. So we have decided to take that decrease, and we're closing our West Shore office. So that's where we saw the decrease the most with this grant application. This grant is for $220,550, and I would be asking for immediate approval as it's due with signature page by tomorrow, please.
Questions for Adrian, and if not, I would ask for a motion, please.
No question.
I will move to approve the PCCD Victims of Crime Act grant application of $220,550 for the District Attorney's Office Victim Services.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thanks, Adrian.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Moving on to agenda item 15, I will call on Ryan Simon to discuss the contract for drug and alcohol. Good morning, Ryan.
Good morning. We have a contract with Shippensburg University for Screen U services. Screen U provides a web-based method for administering SBIRT, which stands for Screening, Brief Intervention, and Referral to Treatment. This would be for college students at the university. We're going to be using special funds we're receiving from the state to cover the $2,500 cost.
Any questions for Ryan? And if not, I would ask for a motion, please.
I'll move for approval.
I second. Moved and seconded. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you. Moving on to agenda item 16, I will call on Brent Durham to discuss the contract for facilities management. Good morning, Brent.
Good morning. Morning, everyone. Before you is consideration is a contract with Moser Roofing Solutions. This is a new contract for roof inspection and a maintenance program for the historic courthouse. It's a 3-year contract with a total cost of $11,025. If approved, this will be a general fund expense. The program includes 2 roof inspections per year, debris removal, minor roof repairs, comprehensive report with photos, emergency leak response, and a warranty on any repairs they perform. We have been experiencing some problems with this roof, and I attribute part of the problems to the fact that we do not have a good PM program in place at this facility. We don't have tie-off restraints, so there's no good way for our team to get out there and do preventive maintenance at this property. I believe being proactive and implementing this PM program is a better approach than being reactive to the leaks.
Any questions for Brent? And if not, I would ask for a motion, please.
Brent, I just have one other question. So I'm a little surprised that there wasn't a preventive maintenance plan here. Is there any other areas that come to mind I know you're relatively new in this position, but not with the county. So is there anything else that occurs to you that might benefit from a PM plan?
Good question, Gary. We have a very extensive preventive maintenance program that we do in-house, and we do have the ability to get on many of our roofs. It's just this particular roof we cannot safely get on. We do, over the past couple of years, we do try to use binoculars and get at a higher point and see this roof, but we're just not able to get down in and see the nitty-gritty at this roof. I think all the other ones we get a pretty good view of, with the exception of maybe some sections of the slate on the courthouse roof here. We have difficulty seeing.
Yeah. Okay. That's great. Thanks.
If there are no further questions, I'd ask for a motion, please.
Yeah, I'll move for approval.
I second. Moved and seconded. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you so much, Brent. Oh, you're up again.
Yes, he's also going to.
Hey.
You get more of me today. We advertised we advertised received for bids for mowing services at 8 locations. We received 6 bid packages, 2 of which were disqualified for not having required documentation. The bids that we received were per location, they were per cutting price, and then per year for a 5-year term. Carnes Services LLC was the low bidder at Public Safety Building with a per cutting price of $180. At the prison with the per cutting price of $325, and at 1615 Rittner Highway with a per cutting cost of $65. We actually had a tie at the 1615 property, but Carnes' price remained the same for the 5-year term. The other vendor had escalation charges, so we're going to recommend Carnes for that property. Coldsmith Lawn Care was the low bidder at the Office of Aging with $145 per cutting. Fire Training Grounds with $125. 1601 Rittner, $130, and Allen Road, $180. Now, before I ask for the motions for this, there's an 8th property that I'm going to recommend that we not award a contract for. This is the parcel that's behind the nursing home and the small area to the west side of our Army Heritage. And I recommend that we allow the Juvenile Probation Department, their work crew program, take care of this grass. This is a community service program that's been in place since 2000. They work closely with the Office of Aging, providing aging clients with lawn care services. Their equipment is kept right there at the barn. So it's going to be very easy for them to take care of and cut this area. This will provide the juveniles with some valuable skills, and at the same time will be about a $2,000 annual savings to the county. I do want to give kudos to Yvonne Swarner from our team. This was her idea. And if you don't like the idea, just remember it was her idea. So,
and if we,
I would ask
she gets all the credit, right?
He gets the credit, yeah.
Okay.
So I'd ask for a motion to award mowing service contract to Carnes Services LLC. There's a little bit of a change from the paperwork that you have in front of you. Again, it's Karn Services LLC, and that's for mowing of public safety, prison, and 1615 Rittner Highway properties. And then a second mowing service contract to Coldsmith Lawn Care for the mowing of Office of Aging, Fire Training Ground, 1601 Rittner Highway, and 310 Allen Road.
Hey, Brent, I do have one question and one comment. So I'll start with the comment first. I'll register my annual gripe that it just seems very wasteful to me that we spend so much time, energy, money on mowing grass. And I know at one time we were looking at some alternatives. That's how we ended up with the gardens out at the nursing home. And I'm not suggesting we do gardens, but isn't there some alternative that we could do? Could we look at more of the land and see if we could take it out of active cultivation of Kentucky green or whatever? So that's the question, and you don't have to answer it now, but I'm just gonna state that because that's been something I've brought up before. And the question is, somebody else asked me some time back, and in your comments just made me aware of it, reminded me of it. Do we not have the opportunity to use the prisoners to do some of this type of work?
To answer that question, we probably could use the prisoners to do this type of work, but then you have then we would need to purchase the equipment, have the equipment to cut this amount of grass, Gary. And then there's quite a bit of upkeep with equipment, mowing equipment. So I would hedge a little bit with trying to take on a program using prisoners. To answer your other question, you're probably right. There are probably areas that we could reduce the amount of acreage that we're cutting. I have never looked at that closely, but I can certainly do so if you wish.
If it's not a huge imposition, I would like you to at least kind of file that away and give it some thought as to an alternative to that. So I think there are lots of options out there. In fact, Mr. Stoner may be aware of them as we try to take, more in regards to runoff issues and such. I know he's been very active in letting land use considerations under, discuss, impervious surfaces versus pervious surfaces, et cetera. So thanks for that.
You're welcome.
And I'll make a motion for the approval of the contracts.
I second. Moved and seconded. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thanks, Brent.
Thank you, Brent. Moving on to agenda item 18, I will call on Tammy Bender to discuss the contract addendum for finance. And it looks like Brendan Yeager is joining her as well.
This contract is for our annual licensing, maintenance and support for Questica. This is the 1 year cost is $40,629.29. It's a 3% increase over last year, which is $1,183. Is there any questions?
No questions.
If no questions, then I would ask for a motion, please.
I will move to approve the Questica contract addendum for finance.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Tammy will also be discussing a capital project for the finance department.
This capital is to move Questica to the cloud. Right now, Questica is on premise and we're on version 2023. 2023 is the last version that Questica will support. They will support it up until the 2025 release comes out, which is about mid-year in 2025. We're asking to move to the cloud now. We want to get ahead of everybody else because if we wait to the last minute, everybody else that needs to move to the cloud is going to be jumping on board. We're also hoping, and we can't make any guarantees, but we are trying to move from caseware to data linker, back to the software we were using before to build a budget document. If we are successful in moving from caseware to data linker, it'll be a savings of about $24,000 per year. Now, there is an increased cost of moving from the on-premise to the cloud of $8,000 a year. So our annual hosting fees right now are $8,000 to move it to the cloud. Any questions?
No questions.
I don't have any. So I will move to approve the capital project request for finance for moving Questica to the cloud with a total project cost of $54,550.
I will second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Moving on to agenda item 20, I will call on Sue Clark to discuss the contract addendums for MHIDD. Good morning, Sue.
Good morning. So we have four contracts this morning. The first two are for early intervention. They are 23-24 amendments, both of them. So the first one for grow and tell seedlings. I'm sorry.
I think it's just a little bit, go on.
Okay. So the first one for grow and tell seedlings, it's an increase of $23,762 due to additional services of speech therapy for the children. The second contract, connections, early interventions and supports, is also an amendment. It's an increase of $14,156 due to additional services such as occupational, physical, and speech therapies for the children. The next two contracts are for intellectual and developmental disabilities. The first one for Bold Incorporated is an amendment for 23-24 for an increase of $54,521 for additional respite services. And the last contract for Heather Tesca Store is an amendment for 23-24. It's an increase of $2,000 for additional services for psychological evaluations. Any questions?
I do not have any.
No questions. I move for approval.
I second. Moved and seconded. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you so much, Sue.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. Moving on to agenda item 21, I will call on Kirk Stoner to discuss the contract and grant addendum for planning. Good morning, Kirk.
Sure. Good morning, everyone. First item is an increase in our agreement with PennDOT to support the Greason Road Trail Extension Project. As you may recall, we were the management entity for that grant on behalf of the Cumberland Valley Rails Trails Council. The project is done. It's been done for over a year. We're just managing final amounts with PennDOT. So no impact to the general fund on that. Second piece of that, then we have a contract with JVI, who was the contractor on that job. So as we see more money from PennDOT, we're closing out final amounts with JVI.
I don't have any questions.
Me neither.
I will move to approve the grant addendum and contract for planning as set forth on agenda item 21.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thanks, Kirk.
Thank you. Moving on to agenda item 22, I will call on Claudia Garner to discuss the grant application for public safety. Good morning, Claudia.
Good morning, everybody. Public Safety is requesting your permission to apply for the 2024-25 Hazardous Materials Response Fund grant of state funding from PEMA. The amount of the funding award will be subject to the availability of funds in the program at PEMA and determined later in the year, and it'll be on our grant agreement once we get it. It will have a performance period of July 1, 24 through June 30 of 25. Last year's amount was $27,000, and our 5-year average has been $34,000, but it is steadily decreasing. The funding from this grant is used to enhance the planning, training, and response capabilities of our hazardous materials program and the team. Along with the grant application, each county completes a hazmat assessment that the state uses to evaluate the capabilities and limitations of all the teams in the state. You should have that attached to your documentation today. And in order to make our application, we just need your signature on the certification page after your approval today so that we can submit that to PEMA with our application by end of day tomorrow. If there's no questions, I'll ask for your approval to apply.
Claudia, I do have a question. Do we have any explanation for the declining trend line on the award?
Yeah, a lot of that is tied to there has been no revision of the chemical planning and fees for many, many, many years. And also the number of facilities within each county has a direct reflection on that. Our team does a real good job of trying to do that public outreach with our public safety partners, as well as our corporate partners, to find out what chemicals are stored at facilities. And the number of facilities that are reporting all ties into all of that.
Okay. All right. So is there any, are you guys making any overtures to try to capture more of that database, to identify more?
Yeah, so what we do here at Public Safety, the LAPC and the hazmat folks, they are always searching, literally searching the newspapers, searching Facebook ads that pop up for new businesses that come in, and they will physically go out and talk to the agencies, the businesses, or they'll call them on the phone. We definitely can use some help with legislation changes. And we can talk more about that. We can send you additional information offline if you'd like.
That would be great, yes.
So I was going to update on this during my commissioner's update, so we can either do it now or I can wait.
Let's wait for the updates then.
Thank you. Any further questions? You move, Gary. I second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Claudia.
Thank you, Claudia. And with that, I will turn the meeting back over to Stacy.
Thanks, Angela. That takes us to agenda item 23, and we have a capital project request for Aging and Community Services for a new vehicle. And we have Christine Bowden joining us. Hi, Christine.
Good morning. Yes, we're requesting approval of $40,000 to purchase a new vehicle. We would be trading our current RAV4 to the planning department.
Any questions for Christine?
You're transferring it to planning. There's no trade. There's no trade.
Yes, transfer. Well, we have, because of aging being the cash, they have to pay us for the vehicle as a part of the how it was purchased.
Okay. All right, good. That's all I had.
Any other questions for Christine?
No, I will move to approve the capital project request for Aging and Community Service for a new vehicle with a total project cost of $40,000.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you
so much, Christine.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next two agenda items, we have Lisa Ryder here with us to discuss and seek approval for two capital project requests for children and youth. Let's start with number 24.
Good morning, Commissioners. Here to request approval for two capital requests. The first one is for virtual reality headsets and a monthly subscription for training purposes. Discussed this at our needs base back in the fall. This is basically to give caseworkers training in real life scenarios, but doing it virtually so they can learn before they actually have to go out into the field. We're requesting to purchase 4 headsets and the monthly subscription. So for the first year ending June 30th of this fiscal year, we're going to use Families First Transition Funds, which is 100% federal funding, no, nothing to the general fund. And then years 2 through 5 would be, we did request it in our needs-based budget and we did get our tentative certifieds and the state did approve it. So the cost would be approximately 10,400 to the general fund, and the remaining balance would be state funding. And also the contract that Jamie discussed earlier for the virtual training, it's our understanding that these 4 headsets can be used for that training also. Are there any questions?
Lisa, have you guys piloted these things at all? Are you familiar with them? And
Nikki and some other directors actually tried them at a PCYA conference, and they were really excited about it. So it's we're actually going to do it in conjunction with Dauphin County and York County. The 3 counties are going to share in the subscription, and we'll monitor it, and we can change up the scenarios that the caseworkers use. So we don't actually have, they did try it. So yes.
There'll be options for you guys to then provide input on your experiences.
Yes, my understanding is that they will go through the training virtually, and at the end of the training, it does give us a report on how the caseworker did and how they responded to the questions and the clients in the virtual training, so it can help us assess the caseworker's needs.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily mean a performance assessment. I meant, how well you guys like them, if you think there's value in it, and that type of like customer satisfaction research.
Assessing that on an ongoing basis, just basically because of the subscription being $4,000 a month. We want to make sure they're being utilized and that the training is good and it's working for the caseworkers.
Good. Okay. That's all I have. Thank you.
So we are seeking approval today for this capital project.
I'll move for approval of the capital project as outlined.
I second. Moved and seconded. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you, commissioners. And Lisa, if you want to cover agenda item 25.
Yep. The second one is a request for 4 new copier printer scanners. In our agency, we have currently 3 printers on our second floor that they're beyond their life expectancy, and they are dying, and the IT department is telling us that it's not cost effective to fix these printers anymore. And we also have 2 old copier printers up on the 3rd floor that we bought out after a lease expired. Those are also non-fixable anymore, or not cost effective. All these machines, the printers we purchased back in 2012 and 2014, and the 2 old smaller copiers that are beyond their life were approximately 7 and 8 years old. So IMTO came over and did a whole analysis of our whole agency, all our printers and copiers, and the amount of people that we have and the amount of usage, and their recommendation was for these 4 new printer copier scanners. The cost would be $11,349 a year, $2,270 of that being general fund, the remainder being Act 148 funding. Are there any questions?
No.
I don't have any. I will move to approve the capital project request for Children and Youth for Children and Youth Network printer copier scanner with a total project cost of $56,744.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you so much, Lisa.
All right. Well, thank you, commissioners. That does take us then to agenda item 26, and that's Commissioner's Liaison Report. So Commissioner Fashi, I would start with you.
All right. Good morning, Cumberland County. I would remind you to use the Cumberland County Library System. I have 2 other things to report. The first one is related to the agenda item on hazmat and Act 165. So hazmat funding has dropped severely in the last few years. The state used to bring in $1.3 million, and now the state is only collecting $800,000 in chemical fees. And then, of course, that money is divided among 67 counties. So a chemical fee of $10 per chemical in 1990 has not changed over 30 years. And of course, then the cost of hazmat materials and meters has certainly increased. Yesterday, Steve Spangler And Justin Shawless visited members of our delegation to have conversations about just this issue. They met with Representative Patty Kim. They met with Representative Cheryl Delosier, Representative Thomas Kutz. They went to those offices and asked for face-to-face meetings. And Steve called Rep. Barb Gleim and Rep. Torn-Ecker and asked for the same. So Steve Spangler and Justin Shawless are really working on this. This is probably a really great opportunity for the Board of Commissioners to become involved and at least put together a letter to the state, letting them know what we need in terms of hazmat funding and outlining the issues. And the other thing that happened is we had a Western COG meeting, and boy, the board has really been briefed on what happened there. There was again that conversation about FPRs, municipalities possibly joining the coalition to get ahead of the issue. Representative Gleim and Representative Ecker were both at that meeting and thought that they had a very nice handle on a possible bill to handle FPRs, and I have reported that out to the board as well as staff. Representative Ecker talked about the budget. He said that revenues appear high because of COVID monies that is still in Harrisburg, and there were no thoughts on when that budget will be done. And that is what I have today. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Eichelberger.
Okay, let's see, the recycling, I don't need to cover. Justin was in yesterday and gave us a good overview on some of the tire collection, and there is the recycling authority meeting is canceled this month again. Just a lack of business items, I believe. So I'll be checking in with him regularly. I haven't gotten any information from him regarding the insurance on the unit that was damaged by fire. I know they were having a struggle with the insurance company there. I'd like for us to be aware of that, so I'm going to follow up with him on that. I think on the MH side, Annie did not have any specific updates for me when I checked in with her. However, I did receive, I had a lengthy telephone conversation with Representative Gleim on the issue, and I think we need some clarity on the issue. So I'm going to be conversing with Annie a little later today regarding that telephone conversation to make sure I can reconcile some of the conflicting things that I think I'm hearing. And I want to get those right. So I'll follow up with her, and then I'll pass my comments on to the other commissioners via email for full consideration. I think Aging's meeting is next week. I have to check the calendar. I have a little trouble opening the calendar when I'm on Zoom here for some reason. So nothing to report there right now. And blighted property was canceled. So I really don't have anything additional. I think that's it. I'll just follow up on the other item with Annie and let you guys know.
Thank you, Commissioner. That then takes us to agenda item 27. I would like to report that an executive session, excuse me, boy, that is a hard word. An executive session was held on March 7, 2024 at 9:30 a.m. Regarding personnel. And now I would ask if there is any other business to come before the board today. Okay, hearing none and seeing none, we are adjourned.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Good day.
Oh, Angela and Stacy, please stamp my name on those things that have to go out today.
Absolutely.
And I will come in after this thing at the West Shore Theater, and I'll sign I'll sign everything. But if I think one of those has to go right away, so please stamp my name on it. Okay, I'll see you in a little bit.
Okay.